Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica. Today I'm going to tell you my YouTube story, or my YouTube journey. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be calling this. I want to tell you about my journey with YouTube, and majority of it is going to be viewership of YouTube, because I was a viewer for a lot longer than I've been a creator here. And I'm working off this idea from one of my friends over on the BOOKTUBE side of things, Spence. I will link his channel along with his video down below. His is a reading journey, and I think he titled it My Reading Journey. This may be a little bit different from beauty, so I mean this might not be the most appropriate platform, but this idea was very much inspired from his video. So I wanted to go ahead and give credit where credit's due. I think that this is an interesting topic to kind of talk about, how you came across YouTube, because honestly, if you think about it, maybe 5-6 years ago, even maybe more, I don't remember YouTube being that popular. I mean, now you hear, especially I think once people started capitalizing on YouTube and having a way for it to make money, before making videos for YouTube, I don't know if it was actually it didn't seem like that big of that popular, and especially not out to the world, you know. So basically the first person who I started following here on YouTube was Jenna Marbles, and I still follow her. I think she's freaking hilarious. So I basically got introduced through her viral hilarious videos, and I loved it. I loved her so much, and I kept watching, and I credit her to, you know, my YouTube downfall of really diving down the rabbit hole of YouTube. And at that point, YouTube for me was just finding funny videos. I think that was, I want to say, I don't know, 2010, 2011, of actually starting to watch YouTube videos and subscribing to someone. And I think once you get introduced like that and actually start following, that's whenever you really take the plunge. And from there, and I stayed with that for a while. I just stayed with funny videos. And then I fell down the beauty guru rabbit hole, and the first beauty guru that I remember following is Shaaanxo, and again I still follow her. I really liked her videos because she applied her makeup in ways that I could understand, and she kind of looked like me, and what she was doing with her makeup was definitely my style. She was the first person that I followed, and again I still follow her. I love her so much. She was like my first delve into the beauty community. From there I went on to following Kathleen Lights because I loved the way she was doing her, the way she put color together. I thought that was really interesting. And then I was back and forth with Jaclyn Hill a little bit. At first I didn't really, she kind of put me off just with how her energy is very crazy and very out there. And I mean, she's entertaining, but I had to warm up to her a bit, I think. I started following Aina. I love her so much. She's the best. I started watching YouTube around that time for entertainment and less instruction, and more, you know, entertainment of the of makeup and stuff like that, because I will say Aina is the most entertaining, I think, out of all of them. She is hilarious. I love her so much. Now for me, around that time, I was watching them. I watched them for a while, and I think that this is something, especially here on the panning community part of things, a lot of us might relate to, is hearing about all these people liking so many products. I really wanted to know what they were talking about, so I would buy certain palettes and, you know, off of their recommendations. And I don't think I remember ever buying something that didn't work for me, that was recommended to me that didn't work for me. Usually because even though, and I kind of said this with my limited edition, why I don't buy limited edition video, just because they would recommend something, I wouldn't immediately go out and buy it. I would wait a little bit, you know. I would kind of hear more and more about it, and let the hype build a little bit, and then let it die down a little bit, and if people were still talking about it, then I would go and buy it. But suddenly I realized, and this was also a time when I was working 2 jobs and I barely had a day off. I was working up to like 60 hours a week, and I was in uniform for my jobs, and so basically the only way to express myself was through my makeup. Obviously I couldn't get super, I really couldn't get super crazy with my makeup, but I mean, like, I was allowed to wear like bold lips and stuff. But anyways, yeah, so the only way I was able to express myself was through my makeup, so that's where I put my money, was over there in the makeup side of, you know, beauty. My collection grew and grew and grew, and it's kind of was growing to a point where I felt uncomfortable about it. I realized I was taking in more than I was able to really enjoy. I would order something, and then before it even arrived at my door, I was buying something else. And that made me uncomfortable, and I realized that. And around that time, also delving again more and more into the beauty side of things, you get the smaller channels, and all of a sudden you start seeing the panners. And I think my first person that I saw panning was Pretty Pistol 86, 89? I think it's 89. I think she was the first person that I saw panning. And from there, the doors flew open, because I didn't know that we had this little underground crew of people who were panning and actually using their makeup that they had bought. And for me, I think also while I was watching those beauty gurus, I kind of always was like, I kind of want to start a channel, but I knew that like my budget wasn't going to afford me to like buy all these things, nor did I really want to like buy all these things and just have them sit around. I knew always that like as I was buying these things, I was feeling that like feeling bad about consuming and not using. And it never really sat right with me, so I kind of always knew, I was like, no, I could never do that. Like, and I also knew that the really big beauty gurus who were constantly getting new stuff, a majority of it probably, was getting sent to them. And at that point, it kind of seemed impossible to break through that glass, at least in the position that I was in. But with the panning community, seeing that there are so many people out there who were actually in the same position that I was in the same point in their YouTube experience, where they realized that it was getting out of hand and they had to use what they were purchasing, or at least maybe things weren't even getting out of hand. Maybe it was just, you know, just wanting to actually use what they had. But people were making videos about using their makeup. I had no idea that was a thing. So for me, I followed along for a little bit, for like 3 or 4 months, kind of knowing I wanted to do that, and knowing like that's how I could get introduced into this creative side of YouTube. And that's whenever I started my channel. I bought a camera, and because I didn't have one, I mean, I know we all can use our phones, especially now because they do really have great quality on those phones. But I knew that if I was going to start it, I would need something to push me to do it and to keep me doing it. And just filming on my iPhone was not going to be enough for me personally, so I invested my money in a camera. Not a lot of money, and so therefore not a very good camera, and not an appropriate camera for what I'm doing, because as a lot of you guys probably have heard me kind of complain about with my camera, I film blindly, and because it doesn't have a viewfinder that flips out towards me, unfortunately, so I literally have no idea what's in frame, and it doesn't have autofocus. I don't have any of the bells and whistles, so yeah, it's not great for YouTube, but it was something that made me lock into the hobby. And once I started, and I was in for it. Somewhere along those lines as well, around watching all these lovely women pan their makeup, I found the BOOKTUBE side of things as well, and I fell in love for that, because again, I was like, first of all, I had no idea that there were people out there that read so many books. I thought that, at first I was reading like 5 books a year, and a lot of them were required readings. Most of them were probably required readings, and For me, that was a lot. And then once I started watching BookTube and I heard that there are people reading like 200 books a year, some people even like, 300, which is banana sandwich. I mean, I know some of those books are not like, big epics, but still, I had no idea, and I was watching those people, and that really changed me. So when you read a book, it kind of changes you, hopefully, if it has some sort of impact on you. And yeah, that's been the biggest change for me in my life, is opening myself up to all these books and that experience, and it's something that has grown into such a massive passion for me. My little shameless plug. For those of you who don't know, I've always done BookTube and penning side of my videos, but I think a month or two ago, I switched over to its own little channel, my own little BookTube channel. I will link that down below or in the cards, one of the two, or both, I'm not sure. But yeah, if you guys missed a video, I did have a video where I announced separating the channels or separating the two. If you missed it, there you go. But anyways, so around that time, that's whenever I found BookTube and panning, and I realized that there was a side of YouTube that didn't require me to break the bank. I mean, I still buy a lot of books, but it's not nearly as much as, the makeup. And I don't feel as bad buying books as I was about buying makeup. Because again, books, like, they don't go bad if I don't get to them in a certain amount of time. Makeup does. It does go bad, and I was feeling, I always had that, like, my conscience in the back of my mind, like, saying, like, you're not gonna get to this. I started my channel, and I started my channel in, and I always forget, August or September. I think I always forget because I filmed, like, late August, but I didn't actually post until early September, I think. So yeah, I started my channel this past year in 2017. I'm loving it. I love it so much, and I love the friends that I've made. I cannot believe when I first posted my first video, I legitimately was so afraid, which again is kind of like an unrealistic fear, an irrational fear that I was going to come on here and just get like hate. Like right away before anyone was following me, I was just gonna get like, I hate you comments, I don't know. But that obviously didn't happen. More than anything, everyone was so welcoming, especially like this panning community and the BookTube side of things. I was so happy with my decision to make my video, or make my channel about those two communities, because I don't know, I always like, I kind of always wanted to start a YouTube channel, but with how I was viewing, I just didn't think that there was a spot for me, and I'm like, who actually wants to sit around and watch people use up their makeup? Lo and behold, I did, and obviously all of you guys wanted to as well, and I just realized that this was like the place that I wanted to be, and this was the community that I wanted to join in, so I did, and it's been a great experience. I'm loving that I'm making so many friends, and that you guys are such a support team for me, and that I can be that for you. And yeah, I don't really know how I'm gonna wrap this video up, because I kind of didn't really think about where I am right now, other than I'm still loving the panning stuff, and I'm still just as much a viewer as I am a creator. Yeah, I guess this kind of is ending weird, because it's like, and now I'm here, the end. But anyways, I would love to hear what you guys have to say, what your, how your viewing experience kind of differed from mine. Okay, sorry, my card was full, so I had to take it off, but just for this outro, I want to say, please let me know what your guys' experiences are, if they're different from mine or if they're similar to mine. I'm really interested too, what brought you onto YouTube? Even if you're a viewer or a creator, whoever you are, what brought you over here? I mean, especially if you think about like 5 years ago, 10 years, was YouTube around 10 years ago? I'm sure it was. But like even 5 years ago, it was not what it is now, where there's actually like sections and ways to make money, and there's so many people uploading so many different things where it's very much well known. But I do think it's interesting, like, what caught your eye? What was the first person or thing that, or type of video that you got on and stayed on YouTube for. You know, not just the random viral videos, the, you know, America's Funniest Home Video type of videos. I'm not going to make this a tag, but please, if anyone wants to do this type of video, please do it. I think we're all so curious. And that's it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment your experiences down below. And that's going to be it for today. Thanks, guys. Bye.